Mehmet Inhan, CEO of EBI, welcome to London Book Fair podcast. Now we're here at the Publishers Association International Conference where you've just given a very impressive presentation. You're an engineer, an entrepreneur and an academic, and you lecture in economics. So which of those personas led you to found Idefix in 1998?
Actually, I'm the manager of the company, I'm not the founder.
Right.
So I've been managing the company since 5 years. But the story starts in 96 as one of the first online businesses in Turkey. And it took about 2 years until they were really online, because they were basically doing the book business at that time, and they had to create the catalog from scratch, work with databases which of that time, technology-wise. So it was an effort. It was the first pioneering work which came online in 98.
Now that's a brave move, because you were head of Amazon. The Turks buy a lot of books, but you do have 6,000 bookshops in the country.
It was, and it took some time for the publishers to understand what we were doing, because there was some guy coming with a motorcycle, picking a few books and going away. And they said, what sort of a business model is this? And it took some time, of course, until the customers also started getting acquainted with buying online, which was rather new in Turkey at that time. And of course, it was an early entry. And EBI, our company, also had other internet initiatives, ventures, if you may say so. So it had very different revenue streams coming. And it could support Idefix, the first online bookstore, for quite some time. And then now, of course, it's something by itself, and it is spreading now to wholesale, B2B, e-commerce also.
Given that you were working ahead of Amazon, you were really far-sighted. Was Turkey a very wired country at that point? Was it ahead of the rest of the world in some ways?
Well, actually, it was, I think it was the beginning of the 90s with this multimedia revolution, so-called, where the computers started to sing and dance, if you may, with lots of audiovisual in it. The hype was started actually then, and the moment the internet started to spread out, of course, people were very quick to jump on to online business solutions, and it was very quick spreading environment actually in Turkey.
Now it's a different model to Amazon. Publishers set prices, and you're obviously very keen to ensure that everyone can live and that you support the industry you're working with. Does that mean that Turkey has fixed pricing for books, or are you just being kind and benevolent and supporting the industry that supports you?
No, we always thought that we are going to live if the publishers are living. So although Turkey doesn't have a price regulation whatsoever, it was not like in Germany, France, or England.
It's never had.
10 years ago, never had a price regulation, or never had regulation against price competition. Our policy has always been to work with publishers and to work with a so-called agency model. And we continue this policy also with the e-book initiative, which we started in 2010.
What will happen, though, if an international operator comes in and undercuts all those prices?
Well, local operators already started selling e-books through their applications from tablets because they are very keen to provide their customers with value-added services. But we are aggregating the books to them, and one of our conditions in our contracts is that the publisher sets the price, and they are not allowed to go into fierce price competition, except the one we already have in online businesses. Unfortunately, online retailers are doing fierce price reductions all the way up to 25–30%. We try to cut this down. At least we cut it down to 15% a couple of years ago. We are not giving more than 15% discounts, and we don't want to compete with the bookstores. But there is fierce price competition on the online sphere. So it was very important for us to put these conditions to the online mobile operators who want to sell e-books, because it's a very touchy issue, as you might think.
You've now got something like a 5% share of the market. Your customers are young, they're highly educated. What are they buying? Are they buying fiction, general non-fiction, academic titles?
We are more in fiction and literature, actually. The academic sphere is totally different, and there are other players there. Our customers have been buying basically fiction and literature books from us, so we are in e-books, we are basically on that side.
You've launched an e-zine, which is now also appears in print, Sabit Fikir, which is Turkish for Idefix, I think. Is that very much a shop window for the company?
Actually, it started as an e-zine or e-zine, whichever way you pronounce it. And the basic aim was actually to create the traffic and provide rich content to our customers. But gradually, it started to become, a major literary channel. And the editorial staff is very young and very dedicated. And we have a policy where usually we don't want to spare our words as far as critics is concerned. And in Turkey, that's a problem in the literary sphere, because usually the books magazines, which are supplements to major newspapers, are very careful in criticizing anything because of political reasons. And so our magazine has been very independent, and that's why it became very popular. And now it is going on with cultural activities where we invite authors and they meet with their audience.
Your growth is obviously very dependent on the increasing use of computers, smartphones, other gizmos. What's the kind of take-up in Turkey, and what are your targets?
The growth on the B2C side, on the retail, the online retail, is somewhere around 40 to 50% a year.
On the retail side?
On the retail side. The B2B side is growing even higher, more than 100%, because basically it's a new operation. It's growing very fast, and up to now we have recruited about 1,400 members, bookstores, independent bookstores. So that's another area which is growing very fast. But the retail side is also growing, especially e-books. Depends, of course, on the penetration of tablets and devices. Up to now we haven't worked on our own device like a Kindle for Amazon or a Nook for Barnes & Noble. We don't have a native device up to now. We are planning to develop it in the near future. But of course the markets depend on the penetration of these devices and the customers getting used to use them.
Are you able to say what your turnover is now and what you hope it will be in 5 years or 10 years' time?
Well, it's about 30 million Turkish liras at the moment. But as I said, it's growing quite fast. We are one of the 3 major online retailers which share the majority of the online market, which is unfortunately still very narrow, taking into consideration the whole publishing industry. But as far as the B2B side, which is growing quite fast, the market, of course, is much greater than the online market right now. And over there, we are targeting something like 15 to 20% of the market share in the next 6-7 years.
You publish Turkey's weekly bestseller list. Is that the only bestseller list, or are there others?
No, actually, there are other sources which publish bestsellers. Ours is, of course, depending on our own data.
Now, finally, you'll be coming to the London Book Fair 2013, and of course, Turkey's the market-focused country. You have big hopes for that, as does the book fair itself. What benefits do you think will accrue for both Turkey and for the international community?
Well, actually, there's been lots of efforts, especially conducted by the Ministry of Culture, to translate Turkish literature to foreign languages. And I believe that's something which is going to change the relations both ways. And these events, especially the London Book Fair, where Turkey is the guest of honor this year, gives the opportunity to meet lots of people. We want to start selling foreign books in Turkey through our channel. And there's a huge opportunity there. I believe the demand by independent bookstores is there because most of them are situated around universities, all around Anatolia, and they simply do not have access to foreign books either. and we believe we can channel that to them. And of course, these events are always great opportunities to establish relations.
Mehmet Inhan, thank you very much indeed.
I thank you very much for having me. It was great.
You're very welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you.